Howdy, friends. We're thinking a little bit today about our water and where it comes from, especially when we have clean water. Now, if you've ever planted a garden, you know you have a hose that you can put on it. But if you want to do an experiment and try it, if you collect or harvest, or however you'd like to put it, your rainwater and use that instead, you'll find that your crops grow so much better because it has all those things that nature provides that isn't stripped out and changed. Now, don't drink that rainwater, but in your produce, boy, oh boy, does it make a difference. As I was reading In a Time to Grow, one of the pieces that the author points out is something about Psalm 78. And I want to share a little bit. It's a very, very long psalm, so I'm just going to read a little section to you. So Psalm 78 has a part, and it goes like this. They, the Israelites, forgot what God had done and the miracles that God had shown them. In the sight of their ancestors, God worked miracles. In the land of Egypt, in the fields of Zoan, God divided the sea and let them pass through and made the waters like a heap. In the daytime, God led them with a cloud and all night long with a fiery light. God split open rocks in the wilderness and gave them drink abundantly as from the deep. God made streams come out of the rock and caused waters to flow down like rivers. Yet they sinned still more against him in rebelling against the Most High in the desert. They tested God in their heart by demanding the food they craved. They spoke against God, saying, "Can God spread a table in the wilderness?" Even though he struck the rock so that the water gushed out and the torrents overflowed, can he also give people bread or provide meat for his people? Therefore, when the Lord heard, God was full of rage. A fire was kindled against Jacob, and God's anger mounted against Israel because they had no faith in God and did not trust God's saving power. Yet God commanded the skies above and opened the doors of heaven and rained down upon them manna to eat and gave them the grain of heaven. Mortals ate of the bread of angels, and he sent food to them in abundance. And he caused the east wind to blow in the heavens, and by God's power he let out the south wind. We sometimes think that we are the masters of our own domain and that we can do anything because we're who we are. And the reality is, water is not something you can just go out and create, at least not without a lot of equipment. The reality is we are so reliant on water, especially that clean water, the water that is healthy for us, that sometimes we are ungrateful. Sometimes we forget that we don't have that power. Yes, we can flick a faucet and get fresh drinking water. But if you travel places, and I have, there are places where you can't do that, where the water you get that comes out of the faucet is not something you can drink. It's not safe. When we start to complain about the things we have, like when I'm frustrated I can't find my Dr. Pepper, sometimes when I think about things like that, I think back to how God provided for the Israelites through the desert, by parting the Red Sea, by giving them fresh water from the rock, by making life possible in the midst of inhospitality and in inhospitable conditions. Nonetheless, God provides that fresh, clean water that nurtures life, whether it be in the form of parting the Red Seas that they might live, or giving them fresh water to drink in the desert, or providing the waters of the womb that they might be born. God continues to provide that fresh, clean water, which tells me that we have a responsibility to do the same, to take care of our waterways, to do all that we can to make sure the water that we have access to, and not just us, but everybody has access to, is healthy and safe, because that is what God has done for us, and we ought to do the bare minimum of that for others. Think about that the next time you have a drink. You go to your tap or your refrigerator and fill that glass of clean, crisp, cold water. And remember how good God is. We'll see you soon.
And he walks with me and he talks with me and he tells me I am his own. And the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever